hatred end. We need to bring love back again. Stop and listen for the sign of the times. Pay attention.
Good morning, coffee breakers. Everybody's up and at it this morning. I hope and pray you're doing great, feeling wonderful, and just slept really comfortably. It wouldn't be how I slept because I didn't sleep at all. Couldn't wait, anticipating to get here today, to be here with you, to do our thing, to chat it up and talk all the talk we want about the things that we care about or the things that we're thinking about. Today's guest is Andre Bellos, and I'm excited to bring him into the studio. And before we get there, we're going to do a little quick commercial break and come back and do my Wonder Wake Up in the Morning song and feeling wonderful and beautiful. And if you're ready for it, I'm ready for it. How you doing? How was your week? It's Friday morning, girl, boy, whoever you are, people. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. But before I get the song going, let's take a break for the cause.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
So we're back, and this is the Female Solution. And I do believe that as a female, I have all the solutions. Now, you know what? Our kids may argue with us, our husbands and our lovers may disagree, or they may have learned to concur and keep going. But you know, one thing's for sure, we are the solution. And I believe it to the highest power. So, okay, how's it going, everybody? What's going on? You say you're doing good. Okay, I believe it. So leave your comments. Make sure you just comment, chat, and keep going. But before we get started, let's do the meditation of love in ourselves with the wake up in the morning feeling beautiful. I want to wake up 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 feeling beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I want to wake up with the love in my heart and joy in my eyes. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Wake up feeling beautiful. Beautiful. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. Hey, yeah. I hope you're feeling that. I felt that this morning. I think I needed that. This morning. You know, if you've had a rough week, and it doesn't mean that things had to go bad, but that some moment interrupted and made you stop and think about, what the heck am I doing? What's going on in my life? How do I get to the next step? Or if you've just been like me, I'm one of those people that I'm so used to have to jump in hurdles that when things happen, I just go, oh, there's another hurdle. And sometimes I have to stop and call a friend. And when I do, you can believe we are on chat about it. And then I walk away saying, oh, I got the answer. It's going to be okay. And I'm going to go to sleep and wake up feeling beautiful. Now, I hope you're feeling beautiful this morning. So as we get into this morning, let me just take this time to say, I'm so grateful for everyone that shows up here and supports this here show, Coffee Break with Senabella and the Female Solution. And I'm so grateful that I've been blessed to have an opportunity to get to know each and every one of you, not only through this thread, but through the thread of just living. So as I say that, I bring to the screen today our guest, Mr. Andre Bellos. Good morning, Andre.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. Did you wake up feeling beautiful?
I surely did because I'm on the Senabella show.
I know that's right. And we are here. We are here. We are here. It's been really a great opportunity for me to chat up with people that I know, but don't know as well as I think I know them, right?
Right.
And so we had a chance to actually meet face to face a couple of years ago at the award ceremony at the DuSable Museum, right?
I can't believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah, yeah. But even more importantly than that, I was following you before I had a chance to meet you. I thought this here, yeah, Andre, you're just a sweet person, just really
Oh,
wonderful. I love seeing all the fan club activity. You got your fan club going. I mean, you went all out for everything that you do. And
oh,
that's what impressed me and caused me to start following you and just supporting you and showing you a lot of love because I wanted to see you win. And I didn't know how deep you were into it at the time, but I just said to myself, I hope this here guy makes it.
mm,
I wanted to see you make it. And then I said to myself, I'd never been to your site, right? I never clicked your Facebook page or went to Instagram or anything. I was just taking it as it came. And it wasn't until after I met you, after DuSable, that I went back and looked at your Facebook page because you were just asking everybody everything. You were one of those people, you're not afraid to ask a question.
no.
So you're going to ask things, right? Like what are some of the things you've asked people to do? I can go.
I think really early on, I was always trying to meet a celebrity and get a little selfie with them. So I was never scared to walk up to, a celebrity and ask them for a selfie. But and I still have a little bit of that in me. But, I've realized that things have changed and for the better. So it's just a different way of doing it now. I mean, back in the day, I'd be at an event and I'd see a celebrity and I'd walk right up to them and say, "Hi, can I get a picture with you?" And I'm still a little bit of the same way today. Like I went to Texas earlier this month for the Academy of Country Music Awards, and I got to meet the Backstreet Boys. And I walked up to Nick Carter and I was all like, "Hi, can I get a picture with you guys?" And he was like, "Hi, how are you? My name is Nick." And he put his hand out to shake it. And I was thinking to myself, like, he wants to meet me? I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm Andre Bellos. I'm at a show. Hi, I'm Andre. Can I get a picture?" So it's like those little nuances have changed. I think maybe my status has changed in the world, but my brain has not caught up to that yet. I'm still that little thirsty boy that was trying to get on and
Right.
still trying to get on.
You're still inspired by the people that are around in an industry that you so much care about and love, huh?
100% because I'm still on my way.
Do you think that you'd be different if you were in your way, if you were in your lane completely comfortable? You think you'd be a different person?
I don't know if I would be. I don't know if I would be. I mean, obviously, there's things that come with that. So sometimes you can't help but change your mind a little bit. But I don't know that I would be. I really don't because I know my mind will catch up one day. I know
Mhm,
it will. I know it will.
mhm, mhm. That's interesting that you said that. I don't know if people give a lot of thought to who they'll become as a result of succeeding in the fields of interest that we have, right? It's more like I just want to be a part of it, right? So, like
Right.
as a little girl, I remember going to bed dreaming all the time about who I was going to sing on stage with, but I didn't know I was interested in singing, to be honest. I just remember being in the school plays and what have you. So I was singing and dancing and doing all the acting and so forth. But when I would go home amongst all my siblings, sleeping in a bed with another person, I would dream about singing on stage with big name people. And so I'd wake up and I'd be like, dun, 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 Earth, Wind, and Fire and all of the
Wow.
big names that were out there. And so Did you and do you ever have those kind of things happen to you? Do you dream and have you dreamed about those kind of things happening?
100%. I'm one of the biggest daydreamers. I've been doing it since I was a little kid, and I think that daydreaming really is manifestation. I always, dreamed of being in the entertainment business, some way. And as you mentioned, it's all about just wanting an opportunity. And, I'm not first, I'm not last, but I'm grateful to have my seat at the table. And, you know, I'm I'm truly living my dreams.
Mhm. And it's not easy being in an industry where everything is about how you look, how you feel, what's your temperament before you actually get the job. How has that been for you?
Um, it hasn't been an easy road because I can be temperamental, but it's all about taking it day by day, and it's all about rewiring your brain, and that's in anything. And it takes years. It's a lifelong journey. I mean, 6 months will go by and I'll be like, why is my brain not rewired yet? But
Mm.
it is a lifelong journey of making mistakes and then telling yourself that that was a mistake and then cleaning it up and then trying not to do it again. Some mistakes are made more than once and some aren't, but that's life.
Mhm.
And I know that I've added an extra layer to my life with trying to become a movie star, but I made a lot of sacrifices to walk this path, so I'm not about to stop now.
Wow. Hi, Brian. Brian Harper's in the house. He and I worked together in a big, well, it was, look, a really serious endeavor of working in multimedia some years back now. I guess it's been almost 5 years since that. It took 5 or 6 years, but he's a director. His name is Brian Harper. Hello, Diva. Long time no see. No, you telling me, Brian. Well, it's good. I'm glad to see that any and all of my friends and or contemporaries will catch up with me in all my little escapades of things that I have going on. That's another thing too, right? Is that we want to be loved and cared for and remembered by those that we are marching this path with, right? When we're on that path marching along, we don't want to be forgotten. And it's easy to
Yeah.
be forgotten that we're human beings.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think for me, a big part of why I want to be in the entertainment business is because I would like to be remembered long after I'm gone. I think for me, it's all about legacy. That's more important than the money to me. And um, yeah, I just know that I still reference people like Judy Garland and Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz to this day.
Do
So I
you?
think I really do. So I think my dream is that a whole new generation one day will reference me the same way.
Wow. So you just went way back saying with Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, right?
Right. Well, my favorite television show of all times is I Love Lucy.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Quite a comedian.
I just First of all, Lucy and Desi remind me of my parents, but just reversed. My mom's Hispanic, my dad's white. But also being half Salvadorian, Desi Arnaz is a huge trailblazer for us. He was Cuban American, and before that, we had movies, but we didn't have television. Television was a new medium, and it was really only reserved for whites and Americans. You even had white people wearing blackface back in those days because it was still accepted in order for them to portray black people instead of just hiring a black actor or actress. And um, if you were Hispanic, you could be on television in your country. You could not be on mainstream CBS, you know?
Mm.
So he broke down that door, and he's the reason why I can do what I do today.
Yeah, and now that you talk about it, Lucille Ball was sort of the template for the show, right? Even though her husband came into it, but now that you discuss it as you do, I can see the sort of prominent place that Lucy had over Desi, and how they really wrote the scripts around her, and he was just a character within them, right?
100%, 100%. She was the driving force behind it. Well, I don't know. Desi really was a driving force behind it as well. But I don't know. Lucy just had something special, but they all did, didn't they?
Mhm. They
The
did.
acting
All of the characters who were in it, they all were really very, very funny, very
weren't they
good.
fabulous?
But for Desi, you remembered him like the husband that came home from work in the evening, and it wasn't until there was some type of escapade that Lucy took on that you'd find herself in his world, where
That's
there was
right.
music and all the frivolity, right?
That's right.
Right. So how much is that? How much has, say, your ethnicity impacted what and how you get your roles?
You know, I'm not. I'm obviously not in the rooms when the casting people are discussing, but I hope on that end it has affected me in a positive way. I know on my side, I'm still growing in my career, so I haven't had the opportunity to do all the things I want to do yet. But for example, a huge dream of mine would be to play Desi Arnaz in a biopic, maybe when he's in his 40s. So I
Mm.
think that would be kind of cool. So it definitely triggers my creativity in that sense of like maybe the roles I would want to do one day, or even telling my own life story. As I've gotten older, there's stories that I would like to tell. I would like to tell, stories about myself and my family and my grandmother, whether they be fiction or nonfiction or drama or comedy. I really would love to produce one day.
Wow. I think that when I think about the industry that you're very prominently in now, let's just go and take a moment and let's reflect on some of the things that you've done that's brought you to where you are today. I loved your one sheet, your About Me, and it tells us really quickly that, that you've been on Empire, Chirac, in a film with Ron Howard. What was that like working with such a big Hollywood name, Ron Howard? The Dilemma, and you've been in Chicago's, what is it? Chicago Med, Chicago Justice, History's Great Escapes. You've been in movies, The Long Leaving, Captive State. You've represented brands like Amazon, and let's not forget, honey, we have to put this up because if we don't, yes. And how recent is this?
That was actually shot back in 2023, and it came out last year and on Black Friday. I'm super proud of that. Polo is such a legacy brand. It's such an iconic brand. My dad wore Polo growing up. I love Polo, and it's such a well-known brand. I'm just so God, I'm just so grateful to be a little speck of their history. And I just really hope people reference my work for years to come. And I know that is like such a tall order, and it might be a little cringy, like, oh my God, he wants people to reference him. But I really would. I would love that. Giorgio Armani. And that was several years back too. We had a lot of fun with that shoot.
So they're shooting ads, you're doing work, and sometimes it doesn't come out as soon as you finish it, right?
Right.
So what's that like for an actor's life? You get paid. How soon do you get paid? Because, in the music industry, everything is changing too, right? These days in the music industry, you had better be on top of things. You better be on your toes, 10 toes down, ready to deal with the real behind the scenes stuff, the paperwork, everything. And I tell all of the new and my contemporaries, even a lot of people who are my contemporaries that I've known for many years, have never done one piece of paperwork. What's that like for you? Are you handling it? Is your management handling it? How comfortable are you with that?
So I've been self-managing up until this year. I just signed with a manager in New York City. Shout out to Vilma Laguano from Dream Team. I'm super grateful to be on board. But I've been self-managing up until this year. And you know, I'm a unionized actor since January of 24. But prior to that, I was going over my own paperwork. Of course, now my manager goes through it and whatnot. And then there's the union to back me up to make sure that I'm eating when I'm supposed to and I'm not working too many hours and that my conditions are
Wait,
safe.
wait. The union asks you, they want to know if you're eating when you're supposed to.
They want to know that we're eating after the minimum time that you're allotted to eat. They want to know that, you know, they followed your dietary restrictions. Basically, you are treated like a king or queen for a day. But prior to that, I was doing it all on my own. And I'm really grateful for that because it forced me to learn the business. So I dropped out of college and I did not have a lot of education, especially when it came to the business side of things. And as you mentioned, it's an extremely cutthroat industry. I think music is way more cutthroat than the acting industry, but acting is pretty wild as well. And I'm just grateful for those moments because it forced me to have to learn, to have to research, to have to study, to have to learn the business. I I started in this business I think when I was like maybe 23. So I'm 37 now. I just joined the union last year. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey. And yeah, it's a lot of different new things happening.
Yeah, but you're always somewhere showing up. But go back a moment, just taking a step back to what you said, I always thought acting was probably more cutthroat than music. But to be honest, music is quite cutthroat.
It is, and maybe acting is more cutthroat, and it's not registering the same way because I have such a passion for it. But
Yeah.
boy, I tell you what they put these musicians through, especially the rappers, or just I mean just all of them. It's a tough industry, no matter how you slice it, no matter what you do. It's a tough business. You really have to have a passion for it.
Well, I'm going to just say, honestly speaking, anything that I've done, whether it be in acting, voiceovers, or music, I've been blessed to do it. It wasn't something I pursued. I never really pursued where I'm at. I ended up doing it because someone saw me and they saw me or heard me do something and thought, oh, you could do this. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. For me, it was about making the money.
Mm.
And so I didn't have a passion or a drive for things. I think over time, because I didn't have a passion, it may have appeared that I was sort of like lucky,
Mm.
that somebody looked at me and thought, oh, because she's attractive, she's in this here and getting that. And all those things may be true as I reflect on it today. But I do know that for me, probably the entirety of my career was about, oh, I'm about to make this money. Let me run over here and do this commercial. Let me run over here and do whatever I've been into. So that helped to guide me as a light that this was an industry I could be in, but making a choice. When it came down to the choice, I knew music was right for me because modeling was just too erratic. It was crazy.
Right.
I love being on the runway or doing ads and stuff. One of the things I didn't like was not feeling as if I had control over me and my body. That was the modeling. Then in the acting, it was easy because those were things that just came and I was just ended up doing some commercials. And so, yeah, it was like, I never pursued it because I never thought of myself as an actor or an actress, or as my daughter likes to say, a thespian. right? And then as far as anything else is concerned, I will say this, that all the industries are difficult, no matter what level. And Brian's here in the room. And I promise you, Brian, you can speak to this as well. It doesn't matter if you're behind the camera, on the floor, or whatever you're in, there's always a cutthroat aspect to everything that you're doing because it can only be one person for each role.
I know. Ain't that something? I hate that.
Yeah,
And that's what makes it so competitive.
and then that one check is going to that one person.
And they got a whole bunch of people they got to pay.
Yeah. The breakdown. And that's one of the things that Tahari did, right? When she started complaining about being in The Color Purple and the money, right?
And people probably think she is, commanding so much money, but people have no idea what goes on in these boardroom meetings behind the scenes when you're present, when you're not present. And then if you're lucky enough to get the job and get a number that you're okay with, you don't get, that's not take home pay. You pay taxes and then you have I'm sure Taraji, I don't have a team, but Taraji, I'm sure has a huge team that she pays really good money to because they do good work for her.
That was what she was complaining about. She said, they may end up giving me $1 million, but by the time I break it down, I'm not a millionaire.
No,
the debt is there. But that's the same as it is in every other industry as well. So
I know.
I decided I wanted to produce because it was like I wasn't getting any part of the lion's share money. I'm like, I'm only getting $1,500 for this gig and I got 4 people to pay. Or how about this? They want you to pay for $1.99. They want you to work for $1.99. And then so you have to break that down to cents. But that's the industry. It's about really, what do you use as fuel to keep you going? What is your inspiration?
Oh gosh. I guess God. God, what keeps me going? Senabella, I've just been going for so long that at this point in my life, at this stage in my career, it would almost feel odd to not be doing it. Almost like when you're on vacation from work or you have a random day off and you're like, what am I going to do with myself? I feel weird. I shouldn't be home right now. I should be at work. I truly believe that's how it would be for me. I know, of course, in the beginning, when I first started and I was a kid, I wanted to be a star and I wanted to live my dreams and it was my passions and I felt that I had talent. And then, as you grow up, you have friends and family and your peers who are like, you ain't going to do that. You ain't going to be that, da, 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 da. So some of the motivation as it started comes just from a place of like a pure godly place of like just passion and wanting to do it and so on and so forth. What I believe is like the universe planting like that seed in my head when I was born and in my heart. But then also there's a part that's like, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. You don't think I can do it? I'm going to do it. So it's kind of like a mixture of those two ideas together of like my passion, but then also like, I'm going to show you I can do it. But I'm going to be honest with you, that's when I was a kid. I'm 37 years old right now. So I don't know that I necessarily look at it in the same way. But I think at the end of the day, what truly keeps me going is the thought and idea that I'm not where I want to be at and I'm still on my way. But I think what keeps me going is the thought and the idea that what I want for myself, the universe also wants for me. And I just feel like what a shame to not take it all the way. I have a lot of industry friends, much more successful than I. And a lot of my friends that wanted to be in this business died. And they died young. A lot of my friends that want to do what I'm doing are in the graveyard right now, literally. So I think now that's what keeps me going. I'm just like, this could all end tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. live your dreams today. So that's pretty much where it comes from, I think, today. And I want to share that with your listeners.
With that, that really touches my heart. It doesn't take you a lifetime to realize that you will become a standard bearer for where you are now, right? And that it has to have some impact, and not just in that you'll be able to continue working in that field, but how does that literally translate to the future of yourself? As you talked about legacy, right? And I think that even though we're not really understanding our passion and drive, legacy is what we're trying to get to. And I think any field
100%.
that you're in, legacy is what everybody wants to have been impacted by. They want the world to be impacted by their legacy. Like, I'm the best graphic designer, I'm the best shoemaker, I'm the best chef, I'm the best speaker, I'm the best hairdresser, I'm the best, best, best. And in a world where now that is the continuum in conversations, everyone's trying to show up. You're showing up in front of thousands and thousands, in some cases, millions of people. So how do you overcome that barrier to
Wow.
get to the front of the line? How have you been able to do that?
Gosh, I never even looked at it like that until you just said it and I heard you saying that. Um, hmm. Well, I don't know that I'm at the front of the line. You know what I mean? I've never ever looked at it like that because in my mind, I am I'm still like I'm I'm just so, and it makes me so emotional to talk about. I don't know why, but I'm just again, I'm so programmed. I mean, my upbringing was just normal. My dad was a truck driver. My mom was a homemaker, but then also had like different jobs growing up. Obviously it was a blended family. There was 5 of us. So it was always hard to like get a word in or like get my parents' attention. So that's also a big reason why I always wanted to be in the entertainment business. But to answer your question, Senabella, I don't know. I don't know how I cope with it because I don't know that I'm looking at it like that. I'm not at home like, okay, I'm here. I'm here with the people. Now, how, you know what I mean? I'm just going. I'm just living my life, and I know that I don't feel like I've made it. So that's why I think I'm not looking at it in that way. And I have not made it. I mean, there's so much that I want to do. So I know I kind of answered that a little sloppily, but I don't know that I cope with it because I don't know that I look at it like that. I don't know that I'm the type of person that's like, okay, great, now I'm here. I'm at the front. Now what am I gonna do with it? And like I'm just like, okay, cool, we got an opportunity. Thank you, God. I'm so grateful. Make the most out of it. And then what's the next opportunity? Like I'm always just going and going, and I'm never stopping to smell the roses. Every now and then, God will force me to. Like these last couple of months have been difficult for me to find an acting job, but I also think it's the universe forcing me to reflect.
It's part of it is what's happening in the world also. But Vietta's Tiny House Village has commented. She says, wow, you're so mature at 37.
Oh,
What a lesson that so many of your friends have passed. May you be blessed and on purpose as you move forward, creating more artistic events. Thank you, Viata. I think it's Viata's Tiny House Village. I love all that. Isn't that great?
yeah, that's super sweet. Thank you.
And we need more inspiration than people can even imagine, right? When
Yeah.
you're in an industry where everything is give, 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 give. Oh, give, 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 give. Can you give, 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 give? When you go to your closet one more time and you have to give, 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 give. Did I wear this outfit? Is this the right color?
I
Am I
know.
right things? This is such a takeaway industry. You're a throwaway, and at any minute it can all be over. And so to see the teardrop that really,
Oh, can you see it? I'm sorry. I don't know why it gets me so emotional.
I think it's because you love what you do
Yeah.
and you care about it, and I think that's wonderful. I'm going to take a quick break, and just pay homage to what needs to be said here. And just want to say, I can't wait to come back and talk to you. You all stand by. We're going to be right back. Let's take a, let me see, what am I going to do? Let me see, right here. No.
The Alexander Experience, in association with We Dream in Color Foundation, presents the 2025 We Dream in Color Humanitarian and Unity Celebration at the historical Du Sabo Museum of Black History, honoring phenomenal people doing extraordinary things and empowering others to dream big. Save the date, Saturday, July 19, 2025, for an evening of celebrating life in this year of elevation, where unity and diversity meet. History will be made by the clear vision of the people's chief himself, Chief Tamba Taylor, aka the Are Etesheye of Akola Ijesha Kingdom. VIP red carpet and interviews start immediately by 6:30 p.m. American time. Show presentation starts by 8 p.m. while ticket sale go publicly in mid-May. Contact We Dream in Color Foundation for ticket and reservation. Go to wedreamcolor.org or your favorite honoree. One love.
Back, and we are also back with the phenomenal actor humanitarian. This little man, do I love him? I do. Do I love you? Yes, I do. I do love you. Yeah, I'm just messing the whole song up. I'm just making it mine because I want to say that to you. I think
Thank you.
You're really just a wonderful spirit to be around. And I need to let everybody know, when you meet him in public, he is polished up, baby. We should have got some of those pictures and put up, because really, you bring home the bacon, baby.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
You definitely know how to bring home the bacon. And when it happens, it happens.
That's right.
Yes. You definitely are that person. You're just such a wonderful human being. And it's really a pleasure to be with you and around you and to hear you tell your story. And I don't want to stop. I want to keep going, because I think that the inside track to work is all about who we are, how we feel about ourselves, and what gets us up every day to go do it. Because sometimes you can be actively engaged in the work that you're doing and still not getting that human part of you fed. So let's talk about that a little bit. Feeding the person and not just the industry.
Yeah, 100%. I think recently I just came out of that funk where I just was beyond stressed, and I thought, you just have to keep going. You can't stop. You're too far in the game. You have all these obligations. You've made all these promises. And it does. It gets difficult. It gets tricky. You might book something a month in advance, and that day that you book it, you feel so great about booking it because you're like, yes, this is what I wanted. But a month passes, life happens, then the day comes, you might not be feeling well, maybe you're under the weather, maybe something happened that has affected your attitude. So it is really difficult. It's very tricky. That's something that I'm learning to navigate right now, to just keep going no matter what's going on in my personal life. But I always do try to give myself some sort of break, whether it's walking outside in nature, having my solitude, or exercising, or even just talking to myself. I like to go in nature and I ask myself, Andre, what do you want from this life? And that's when all these like ideas start coming, all these downloads from source start being sent to my mind. And that's when I really start to put everything together. That's kind of what reconnects me to, I think, my real purpose and why I'm doing it. Because at the end of the day, I think my new dream is to be a humanitarian. I know you had called me humanitarian, and I think that's very kind of you. But I think that's my new dream. My new dream one day is to be like a humanitarian philanthropist. Um, like a world renowned, it's such a big dream. But I'd also like to have like a daytime talk show one day, like a male version of Ellen. I think that would really aid and assist in me in my humanitarian and philanthropic efforts.
Well, one thing's for sure, these days, you can do that.
Yes,
It's not so much waiting on someone else to answer the call for you. It's about you answering your own call.
that's right.
For me, my spirit has always been, what do I want to do? Oh, you want to wear black, so I'm going to wear black. What do you want to do? Oh, I want to produce a show with children, so I'm producing show with children. Why does that matter to me? Am I thinking of, am I going to be a humanitarian or am I a humanitarian? Right?
Oh,
Do I love cats or don't I? It's not about can I, it's when am I going to do it? It's
yeah,
not about how much money I have. It's how much time am I going to dedicate to what I say is inside of me to happen. And as you look and you keep piling up and stacking up everything, you began to see the results of what it is that you desire taking place. And that does put you in the room with the people. It puts you
it
in the
does.
room. And when people see you in the room, they say, well, who's that guy? Oh, that was Andre Bello. Didn't you catch him on Chicago Med? Or did you see him on the movie and you work with Ron Howard? Or did you catch him in this? And so those things become important. And so how much of a socialite do you have to be in order to be an actor?
Yeah, Senabella, that is such a fantastic question because I don't think people ever think about it. So I never I never sought out to be a socialite. I never sought out even to be an influencer. I always wanted to be an actor at different points in my life. I wanted to be a singer, but that was more of a pipe dream. But I always wanted to be an actor. And you know, I've worked very hard to join the SAG-AFTRA union, and it's very prestigious, and I'm very grateful for it. Um, but I don't always have a job, and it becomes tricky, not just paying the bills, because that's like a no-brainer, but as you mentioned, how do you keep yourself relevant during those moments? And for me, I'm not necessarily looking at it like I have to go do this particular thing to keep myself on everyone's mind, but I look at it like this is just the next step in my evolution. I know that over the past little bit of time, I think people have maybe looked at me as a socialite. They've maybe seen me more on television for being in the audience of some major award show versus seeing me on television acting. And that has always been a small trigger for me, just because I know that the public has a hard time of understanding who everyone is and what everyone is doing because there's so many stars now, it's hard to keep up.
Mm.
And I know it's human nature to believe that when you see somebody, for example, on a red carpet or at an award show and you don't recognize them, that they are just famous for being famous, or that they're a socialite, or that they're very privileged, or for whatever reason, they somehow don't have talent or have not worked to join this group or this secret club that they're in. By the way, it's no secret club. It's just a bunch of regular people living their dreams. But
No secret club. There's no secret club. Can I
there's
tell
no
you that
secret club.
for me, you know, it was a secret club in the music industry. I always felt like I was an outsider. I was so busy working that I didn't get the invites to the events that the people who were in the industry, you know, that were seemed to be always at. I'm like, how did they get to be invited to this party or this thing? And I was so busy working and nobody was calling me. So I felt like, you know, I'm not an insider. What secret thing is going on? In my book, Finding Jazz, that I'll be releasing this year, it talks about that nuance, like feeling like you got to fit the shoes that they're in order to be a part of that scene. And when you're not and you're out, they almost nudge you and make you feel as though you're not relevant. And then the more you work and the more your name becomes nuanced in the industry, right? Then all of a sudden you're somebody that they recognize and see. So there's a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of difficulty that goes on that stirs you back and forth and causes you to have to question your humanity. And so Higher Learning Network says you're already humanitarian because you were born with it. You just stay relevant just by being you and following your heart.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but it takes a lot to be in an industry where you want to be recognized and you want people to know that you're doing this work, right? For me, what became important was I wanted to make sure that other people could see what I was going through. So by helping other people get into those places, helped me to make that point. By becoming a facilitator, a producer, a person who was writing and involving and bringing, it helped me to make the point, to punctuate that. Okay, you said you want to be in, now let's see how good you're going to be at it, right? Because it's going to have a demand on you. She says again, Higher Learning, you've already answered the call because you're following lead your spirit. You are following lead your spirit. Your spirit has led. Okay, you have already answered the call because you are following lead your spirit has led. You have no idea how many are following your lead. Keep on, keep on. We love her. We love wisdom and humility. Okay, there we go. And so, and these are words I'm certain are from people who have and do experience the same things, right? And we need, a big part of being a humanitarian is recognizing that you're not the only person on the island that is down, depressed, upset, broke, trying to figure out how to put on the right shoes to go with the right outfit, you know. Yeah. Oh, thank you. She says, I find the most fascinating, down-to-earth guest, loving this honest interview. Yeah, that's so what this is about, right? Because if 100%. We don't have that moment, Andre, you know, and I know I'm chatting it up because we're in what I might call my sweet spot. And my sweet spot is about not only am I being kind to others, but are others being kind to me?
Yeah.
So how do you weigh that out?
Oh gosh, that's a hard one because first of all, when I'm living my regular life, you know, no one bothers me. No one cares about me necessarily in that way. Not in a bad way, but I don't have that type of face or name recognition. So I'm still living a regular life. Now, as far as when I'm in those settings, when I'm on set, when I'm on a red carpet, when I'm at an award show, I mean, I'm being treated like a king for a day. So I don't necessarily know if that is sincere or not. And also the way I was raised, there's a lot of things I don't always accept people doing for me, like getting my food or opening the door for me or any type of thing like that. My mom would not have it. She would be like, what's wrong? She would be like, what's wrong with your hand? Why you can't get your own food?
Broken, right?
Right. But
wait a minute, no. The hardest part, I think, of being in an industry that has created this desire for you to be so perfect. And then when you show up, you treat it with this sort of royalty. Is that when you get out the car or the Uber or the bus, or however you got back home, and you're walking in it, and nobody's opening that door. No one's in the house waiting for you to come in. And if someone is there, they're like, "Hey, shut the door." You're back to
Take out
regular
the
life.
garbage.
And your family is the first person to give you that big tip, right?
100%.
Your mom was like, "Hey, get your food. What's the matter with your arm?" Right?
100%. I know growing up, my parents were not into any of that. You know, they loved Hollywood, they loved the stars and the clothes, and they loved looking at it, but they didn't necessarily believe that that was a possibility for me. You know, we're just regular folks. I wasn't connected to anybody in the entertainment business, so I really earned my, I really earned my way. But you know, just regular folks. I mean, to this day, my family does not treat me any differently. It's just same old person.
Right. Because look, I think my sister Marita's still here. She's here, and she'll attest to my sisters. They call me Bella.
Okay.
Bella. I'm like, oh, okay, well, my name is Senabella, And sometimes it's right. But nobody's waiting for you to show up at the door with all of your divine. And when
No.
they are waiting for you to show up and you don't show up like that, they look like, I invited you here to be here like this and you didn't do this, or
Girl,
you're not.
who you telling? I've had people invite me over and be like, I thought there was going to be more excitement. I was like, what? I think they think there's going to be like 7 people following me around and like a lady with an earpiece and a clipboard, like taking notes.
It's a great, but let's not play it down. It's a great platform.
It's a great platform. I'm grateful.
Because you get to have a voice.
100%. I feel like a voice for the voiceless. You know, growing up, my mom always was like, you talk too much, you talk too loud, you talk too often. And now it's like, people want to hear me talk. They want to know what I have to say.
So you found a way to be heard.
That's right.
Right. And even and you said there was how many in your family? There were 5 of you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine? That's what you yearn for. Sometimes
100%.
even in a house where there's just 2 children, like we talked about our cats before we started, there is always that yearning to be seen and heard and out front, right?
Yeah, you just want to be recognized and you want people to tell you that you're doing a good job at whatever it is that you're passionate about, you know?
And what's really funny about it is when you go somewhere and they called you there for a particular reason and they get you in the door and they hurry and you're saying your name and you're like, yes, and okay, and all right, and then you're trying to just answer the call, constantly answering the call. The higher up on the pole you go, the more that interference is there. So I can see how people lose the context of who they are and what is going on that isn't work or that is work, right? Like,
right.
How do you go home and separate all of that? Even if you've had a great night where you get an award, a recognition, people are calling your phone, people are talking about there's now media out on you, you've got newspaper magazines and what have you. How do you deal with all that? Where's the
Of course. Well, so I'm not at the level yet where I'm getting awards, but it sounds so silly because it's like, who says this about themselves? But I think probably because of how my mother raised me, and it sounds so much better when someone else says this about you, but I'm just going to say it. I'm just so grounded. I'm so grounded. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know how much of a blessing this all is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it makes me so emotional to talk about because it's such a miracle, you know? I don't know why I'm so emotional. I think it's because it's early in the morning.
So
I never cry like this. I don't know what my problem is today. But anyways, I know it's such a blessing. I know this is what this is. I'm purging right now. Wow.
Yes.
I know it's such a blessing. Anyways, it's a miracle to be doing what I'm doing.
Well,
So, anyways.
Yeah, well, one of the things is that will say about it is that when you really passionately care about what you do, how you're seen, and what it is that you'll leave as a mark of your signature, then it will bring you to some place where you have to have a value for your own emotions, your own needs, and your desires. If every day, and especially in what you're doing, I think in music, it's a little bit more forgiving because you know what? I'm not worrying about if my dress is going to fit me all the time and I'm going to be the size that they want me to be. I'm more concerned with, am I going to be able to meet the call, period.
Thing, yeah.
Your industry, it's like, yeah, you all really catch it. And I see people like a Gabrielle Union who seems to be like the size of a green pea pod now.
She is so small. I
Yeah,
think she's too small. I shouldn't judge a woman's size, so forgive me. I
yeah, but
love
then
her.
you see people like a Beyonce who is being criticized because she's had her daughters on stage, you know, and one seems different than the other. And you see the whole, it's like everything is being, you know, marginalized in a way that
You know
people are
what,
going, man, do I
Senabella?
really want that industry?
People are nasty. I've heard women say that Beyonce is fat. And I'm like, where? The world, you know what, Senabella? Like Michael Jackson said, and now more than ever, the world needs love. The world needs to heal.
That's right. That's right. Which is my song when it opens is why do we turn our back on a friend? We need to love from within. Tell me when will all this hatred end? We need to bring love back again. Stop and listen, right? There we are. That's where we are. We're in a world now where we're beginning to care. We're caring about
Right.
and our time is running down on this clock. And I
I can't believe it.
yeah. So before we shut down, let me say this to you. What is it that you'd like to say here today that you'd like to leave for people to think, share, or know about you, or to come and see and help to support you?
Absolutely. First and foremost, Senabella, thank you so much for sharing the platform. I'm so grateful and honored to be on with you. Really quickly, I would love to say to your listeners and viewers, especially the young men and women watching that want to be in the entertainment business one day or just want to be an entrepreneur or anything you want to do, go for it. Follow your dreams. At the end of the day, no one knows what you're truly capable of but you. And you guys can check me out at andrebellos.com. I'm on all the social network sites. Follow me. I'll follow you back. And I'm absolutely so elated to have done the show with you today. And thank you so much.
Where higher learning is saying your tears are simply liquid diamonds.
Aw.
Let it glow, honey. Let them flow. It has been such a unique pleasure to be here with you, Andre, today. I look forward to seeing you in person.
Yeah.
And us working to put together to do some things. I heard you talk about comedy. It seems like that's going to be something that you're going to pursue, the comedic side of you, the whole Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz
Yeah.
thing. I feel like we've called that into the universe. It's time for you to go do it. What better time than now? And there's so many more things, so many different facets of you. And I hope people will go and check you out on your social media platforms and just Google you, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
Right? That's always the best way to find somebody today. You end up having them say things and know things that like, well, I didn't mean for you to really know that, you know, but at the end of the day, it's all out there. It's all us.
Yeah.
And like my kids always tell me, Mom, you don't care. You like every picture anybody does for you. I said, because they're all me, baby.
That's right.
They're all me. Thank you so much for showing up today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
Thank you. Take care. Well, folks, that's it for today. We're going to close out with a commercial. And I just want to thank everybody for showing up here today with Coffee Break with Senabella. Hey, if you haven't had your coffee, then have some juice in your coffee cup. Like me. Have a good one.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, Kamsamnida. Russia, Spasiba. Germany, Danke. Poland, John Couillon. France, Merci. Spain, Gracias. Italy, Grazie. Egypt, Shukran. Ghana, Madasi. Nigeria, Eshe. South Africa, Ngiabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.